Welcome back to Rice and Slice Golf Show Podcast, episode number 33.
Yes, we got it right this time.
Yeah, my name is Theo, and the sexy voice that you heard in the background there, or left or right or whatever, I don't know. That's Chenji. Welcome back to the podcast. Hi, Chenji. What's going on?
Hey, dude. How's it going? It's the first time you've complimented on my voice.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I felt like I've complimented your looks on the intro before. I think you're right. I think it's the first time I've actually complimented you on your voice. So yes, you might be correct. But yeah, you have a very posh British voice for somebody that's Chinese that just grew up in Germany, and I don't know, it's a bit weird. But here we are.
Sounds racist, but okay.
I don't think that's racist.
It's okay. It's a compliment.
It is a compliment. It's a compliment. See, even that was posh.
Robbie too.
That was racist. That was racist towards your own people.
But it's okay. I'm a minority.
Okay.
I can be racist.
All
I can play the race card, can't I?
Yeah, yes you can. Yes you can.
Isn't it a rule that you can be racist, but as long as you are racist against yourself?
Yes,
well?
of course. Yes. Yeah. Pretty much. It's
So
a good way to start the podcast. Racism.
Oh, racism. There we go. Racism.
What's going on? You okay?
I mean, how many times are we about to get cancelled? I don't know.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, listen, we've not said bad things. We've said some controversial things before. We haven't said anything bad. I think we're good people. We mean well. It's only a matter of time before we say something and it's taken out of context or something, and then we're like, I mean, again, you can get cancelled if you have like an audience. We don't really have that many people. We have a couple of listeners, so we're not anybody, nobody cares enough about us to cancel us yet. Does that make sense? So we have
Stop being so pessimistic. I like to think that, I don't know, Joe Biden on his Air Force One flight listening to Rice and Slice podcast.
Out of all the celebrities and anybody you could have named, anybody, you named Joe Biden. That makes no sense. You could have named anybody. Tiger Woods has more chance of listening to this podcast than Joe Biden. It makes no sense that you said him. That the first person you thought of was him. So,
I seriously, I have no idea why I just said Joe Biden, but I mean, I don't know. That's just the first person that came to mind.
Okay, fair enough.
That's a bit weird, isn't it?
It is a bit weird. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, that's it's fine. It is what it is. What's going on? You okay?
So if there was one celebrity you would want to listen to, who you would really wish who was following this podcast, who would it be? Apart from Tiger Woods, because you've just said it.
That's a very good question. Would you like a political figure, or would you like a celebrity? Like, what would you prefer?
Doesn't matter. It's completely up to you. I said mine, Joe Biden.
I don't know, mate. That's a really good question. I don't know who would I want if there was one person listening. I know who I'd want. I don't even know who this person is, and I'm going to Google it.
How can you not know something? How can you want somebody to listen to your podcast if you don't even know what his or her name is?
I know exactly who I would want to listen to this podcast, and his name is Martin Slumbers. Do you know who that is?
Martin Slumbers? No. Who's that?
If I tell you, you're going to be like, oh my God, that's who I want somebody to listen to. Right. So Martin Slumbers is the appointed chief executive of the R&A.
Oh my God.
So if you want anybody...
Please... Well, actually, I don't know. Seeing that the many controversial things that we've said on this podcast, is it really the right idea to have the potential, somebody who can get us in potentially to the Royal and Ancient, listen to our podcast?
Wherever you want to go, if Martin's on your side, then you're good. Do you want to play Augusta? I'm sure you can sort that out. I'm sure he can sort that out. He knows, he knows. As a chief executive of the RNA, he knows some people. So you want to pay Sawgrass, you want to pay Cypress Point, Augusta, St. Andrews. Just give Martin a quick text. Just be like, hey, Marty Ma, what's going on? I heard you're a big fan of the podcast. And obviously you're a big fan of Chenji's beautiful British voice. Can you get us in at Augusta? And he's like, no worries, mate. Just tell me a date and a tea time that you want. And it's done. That's the number one person. I think Martin has more of a pull than Tiger Woods. at golf course. I don't know, but still, you know what I mean. He must know a few people.
Absolutely. Yeah. The thing is, obviously, Tiger Woods has got so much pull in the public in the sport, in the game of golf. But there are so many people who work behind the scenes that people don't really know about.
Very good point.
That have perhaps even more influence
Big time.
on the game of golf.
If
Let's just, which kind of like brings us to a good segue onto one of the topics I want to talk about, which is the ball rollback.
Mate, I have a whole paragraph on that. It's absolutely crazy.
Because this is the thing, right? None of the players wanted.
Nobody wants it.
A couple of the players wanted.
No.
But
what
it's
player
still been
wants
proposed. That? I don't think anybody really wants it.
I've not heard in the past week. I've not heard.
But this was proposed by the USGA and
Martin.
the Royal and Ancient, wasn't it?
Yeah. So if you haven't heard, basically what happened was the USGA and the RNA have agreed on a new rule that basically means that I think from next year they would like. It's not even a rule. It's more of what's the word?
It's a local rule.
Yes,
which
kind
means
of.
That
So
it's a local rule, and which means it only applies in professional tournaments.
Yes, but not all tournaments. Like you don't have to do this. It's up to the tournament if they want to do this.
Correct. So it's up to the PGA Tour, it's up to the DP World Tour, European Tour, it's up to the Asian Tour, whatsoever, to decide. Yeah. So basically, what it basically means is that they want to limit the elite golfers of the world on hitting the ball a little bit shorter. The reason is quite legitimate, but again, it just makes the game of golf a bit boring. The reason is because that they're running out of land. And because these top golfers, they are hitting the ball so far and so long and so straight that they're limited on the land that that these golf courses have, and they can't expand and make the holes even more harder than what they already are. So the rule is to make the ball, I think, travel like a maximum of like 270, 280 yards. But again, nobody wants to see this happen. Justin Thomas actually went on, a lot of people went on record and they were like, this is just stupid. Justin Thomas was one of them. And what he did say was, I'm paraphrasing, but basically what he said, you wouldn't make the NBA basketball hoop any higher because NBA players are jumping higher and they're dunking, even more. And you wouldn't make a mile longer so that the world record won't get beaten because people are a lot faster now. It's evolution. They train their bodies a lot more now, even golfers. They train their bodies like proper athletes, and they train and to hit the ball longer, straighter, and faster. So it's only a matter of time. Now, when will this stop? Who knows? I can see in the next 10 years, people on the 1% of the golfers hitting balls 350, 360 yards. I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest. But again, it's just, I don't know, man. It's one of those things. It's, what do you think? I think it's very silly because it's artificial. It doesn't feel natural. I mean, obviously the technology behind the clubs have gone quite far. We've moved from woods back in the days to metal woods, to now perhaps carbon wood,
graphite,
all these different technology, graphite, the use of graphite. However, the gains hasn't been that significant to warrant a proper rollback. I mean, you look at who's the longest hitter on the PGA Tour? Actually, who is it?
I actually don't know. It might be,
because it used to be. I mean, it obviously definitely was Bryson DeChambeau, but what about now?
Great question.
But I do know in the DP World Tour it's a South African called Wilco Nienaber, which is I think his average drive is about 300 yards.
Cameron Champ.
Is it Cameron Champ?
Yeah, 320.4 yards average driving distance.
Bloody.
Madden.
That's good, isn't it? Yeah, and it's got such a good swing as well.
Yeah.
Such a smooth swing, so powerful. So, and these days already the courses have been extended so that your average par 4 these days is like 440 yards.
Yeah.
Right. So even if you hit consistently, like I suppose considering there is also the depending on the course design, be it tree heavy, be it, different other sort of, hazards or, putting things in play, it doesn't really help the long golfer anyway, right?
Completely
because
agree.
Cameron Champ obviously is a really good golfer, but you haven't been seeing him winning on tour every single time. And even, I think when Bryson first buffed up, right, and as he won the US Open, right, I think that season perhaps was an exemption. And I think what happened right after that season was, everybody from sort of the, Genesis Invitational in LA Golf Club to Augusta, they were extending sort of, the length of the golf courses, right, just to counter against the Bryson attack. But then basically, essentially after that one season, distance didn't really matter anymore, right?
True.
Because a lot of these courses have become longer hitters, obviously they'll have easier shots to the green after they drive a good drive. But also just remember, the faster you swing the ball, right, based on physique, the more inconsistent you do become. That's just the law of
exactly it. But
large numbers.
Yes, but again, that's where the clubs come in, where every year the evolution of drivers are getting more forgiving, shall we say. So even if they do miss hit, and even though they're swinging, I don't know, 200 mile an hour swings, it's going to be a lot easier for them to go straight than what it was 5 years ago, for example, because of the clubs.
Okay, right. So basically what you're saying is like the Stealth 2 with the forgiveness, right? So the focus, it shouldn't really be on the far, but it should be on the forgiveness.
I think it's like it's either one or the other for them, for the pros, not for us. For us, we're nobodies. We just try our best to hit the middle of the face.
No.
It is. No,
but think about it, right? I think in order to hit the ball very far, right, you want an actual sort of less stiff you want a more flexible shaft.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Martin Borgmeier, the reigning, what do you call him, longest
long drive
champion,
world long drive champion.
Dude, have you seen what he's using? Do you have any idea?
Is it like a regular shaft?
He has a 4-degree Stealth 2 that is put down 2.5 degrees, and his shaft is a lady's like extra soft shaft. Like he literally grabs it and he like bends it. He doesn't even bend it. He holds the club, like the shaft, the head of it, and he like swings the club, and you just see it like flop about, like it's mad how like how soft the shaft is. And I told this to somebody else, and they were like, "There's no way they're using extra like pro stiff shafts." I'm like, no, actually they don't.
No, because
it takes less
actually
power.
The reason why professionals use extra stiff shafts is so they can swing more consistently, and they don't have to worry about that lag.
Yes.
Right, sort of like like even that lag, just the what's it called, that bend. Right, of the shaft affecting the trajectory of their swing.
Yeah.
Whereas for Martin, all he needs is out of 10 balls or 8 balls or however many chances he gets in the competition for the long drive, all he needs to do is have one ball that's in play that is the longest of the day.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Right? And if he can ensure, and he doesn't really care about that variance of the sort of dispersion of the ball where it ends up. All he cares about is the distance. And if you think about it, the more whippy the shaft is, right, the more whip you get, right? And if you think about it, it's just a whip that you really want to create.
It generates power without even trying in a way because of the whip.
Yeah,
but obviously exactly. It's a lot of getting used to, and you need to change your swing and all that kind of stuff because it is very different. Because where the head of the ball meets where the head of the shaft meets the ball, it's in theory slower than a stiff shaft because you kind of the shaft needs to catch up with your body. Does that make sense? So it is a bit different, but again, it works for them, so fair play.
So, in a way, I'm thinking, right, rather than just because, come on, if you make the ball different, right, so that it kind of like, when it's like, going further, I suppose, it doesn't go as far,
right? But
when it's like going short distance, it doesn't get affected that much. I feel like, it's probably more important to regulate the shaft, and it might be easier as well.
Yeah,
I feel like, the club head, right, obviously, it has helped the players gain extra distance, but what I feel like has a more stronger effect on the distance has been the shaft.
Yes. So let's say that this does go through, and which I don't think it will. I think it will get rolled back.
No.
Let's say this does happen, and from next year we seeing like I don't know, Rory McIlroy is hitting his drives 280 yards. Do you think that in the coming years, with whatever new clubs come out and the new technology that's going to come out, that distance is using that ball that not only goes 290, it's a limited ball, let's say it's a Pro one from 10 years ago, for example. Mm-hmm. Do you not think that in 5 years' time, the technology will catch up where even though you're using that specific ball, you can still drive it 320 yards?
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, it's going to encourage more innovation for the golf industry. But also,
perfect. Yes.
But then again, think about it, right? How many people is it realistically going to affect?
Literally,
right? Let's just say
200 people in the world.
Tour. Exactly.
So what's the point then? That's what I'm trying to say. It's not fun for because I don't get inspired when I watch, I don't know, let's say Pat Perez hit a drive 270, 280 yards. That doesn't make me want to go out and hit golf balls. But personally, I'm talking about me, right? If I want to hit big drives and I look at Rory and I look at Bryson and I look at DJ, Cameron Champ, all these incredible drivers of the ball, and I'm like, oh, I wish I could hit the ball 320 yards. I know I will never hit the ball 320 yards, but it's that thing of, oh, I wish I could do that. When they're hitting it 280 yards, 270 yards, that's a doable kind of drive for us. Even though they're using lesser equipment than what we're using, I can still go out and it's not as impressive. We don't want to see more bogeys. We don't want to see them struggle. Yes, I don't want to see them be like, finish the week on some tournament and they're like 30 under, or 25 under. That's not realistic. That's not very fun. But I do want to, I don't know, make the greens more difficult. Make them faster rather than have make the greens more undulating.
It's like that season when Bryson buffed up, right? And he considered Augusta to be like a par 67 for him or something like that, right? And look how that turned out for him. Barely made the cut.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what's
because
the point?
Because the point is the greens are so bloody hard.
Exactly. So
in Augusta,
driving is only one small part of golf, right?
Exactly.
Putting is so much more important. Or that's where the scores kind of come in. So it's one of those things.
And if Martin, what's his last name again? Martin
Borgmeyer.
Well, no, Martin Borgmeyer. Sorry, the Slumber. Yeah, and if he's listening to our podcast, right? I do want to say, right? I feel like the RNA and the USGA have put themselves into this sort of predicament. They've come up with this idea, which they think is a really good idea, but now it's time to implement it. And realistically, who's going to implement it? The PGA Tour. Okay, now if the PGA Tour chooses to implement it, right, this is where Live Golf comes up and says, we're not going to accept that because we want distance. The longer you hit, the better. Look at us. We've got Bryson DeChambeau, long hitter. We've got Brooks Koepka, again, very long hitter.
Dustin Johnson.
We've got Dustin Johnson, obviously hits a mile away.
Matt Wolff.
Bubba Watson.
There's loads.
Bubba Watson, the original long hitter, right? So all those guys are long hitters. Yeah. So they're going to get a massive sort of, jump in popularity because they just want it to be fun.
And again, to be fair, what they did say was, even though the PGA Tour, what's going to happen is, even if they implement this rule, it's going to be down to each individual course. So like the Masters, it's going to be their choice whether or not the players are allowed to use a Pro V1 from 2023 or a Pro V1 from 2001. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So, but it's the players will stand up for themselves and be like, listen, none of us agree with this. I don't think you should do this. And I like the idea of like a union, shall we say, where they can stand up and say, okay, we need changes. We want more money. We want, we want this, we want that. And I think it's good for the sport if the players are not just doing everything that they're being told, that they can actually stand up for themselves and stand up for a few bits and be like, yeah, listen, we don't like this. I don't think we should do this. We're the ones playing this game. Yes, you're paying us, but we're out here to perform. We're putting our bodies through whatever. We're playing golf. We're away from our families for God knows how many weeks and months. I don't think this is going to be. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good for the game of golf. And everybody's complaining. And I think it's one of those things where they will change it, and I don't think they're going to go through with it, but time will tell.
So speaking of a union, for the players, obviously right now for the PGA Tour, or even in golf, I don't think there is a union, is there?
It's not. There's no union where a bit like a 1% of your cut from the money that you make kind of goes to a different party. But I think they have like Formula One, before every Formula One race, all the drivers kind of sit in a room and have a meeting with the head of the Formula One, right? I feel like
who was that again? I think that was like Roman. I remember one year that was like Roman Grosjean.
I don't know. But I know that this happens, right? And they're like, okay, guys, last week, Lewis, you made this mistake. You, Max, you did this, blah, blah, blah. So I feel like that's their room where Lewis or any F1 driver can stand up and say, listen, guys, I didn't like it when this happened last week. I didn't like it. I think we should do this or change that or do this. And then there's an adult conversation happening. I feel like with the PGA Tour, the same thing can happen. And the same thing does happen. I'm not saying every week they have like a whole massive meeting with 200 players, but I still feel like if you have an issue or if you need to be heard, you can easily go and speak to the right people and say, guys, listen, we've kind of took a vote between ourselves. We don't think this is a good idea. We don't like the idea of making rolling back the ball. I don't think it's going to be as fun for us. It's not going to be fun for the viewers. So we would really appreciate it if you don't go through with it. And then if they say, no, you have to, either the players are going to adapt and be like, okay, we tried. Sorry, guys, we tried. Adapt and kind of, make whatever to roll it back. Or they're going to stand up and say, nah, we're just not going to do it. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I think in the next 2 weeks, 1 week, or before the Masters, I think there's going to be like a final decision happening. And at the Masters, I had to do like interviews for the most famous players or whatever. Before the tournament starts, I genuinely feel that this is going to be like the main topic of the conversation if they don't change it before then. So it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I actually do wonder if there was a union for golfers, right? Be on a PGA Tour or DP World Tour, would Liv have had the chance to actually poach all these players?
Say that again. Yes. Because meetings, when Liv started poaching players, the PGA Tour had a meeting with everybody. Goes, guys, listen, just so you know, if you haven't heard already, DJ, Cam Smith, blah blah blah, they've all left. They've got loads of money. But if you I think the PGA started to kind of sell themselves to all the players and be like, if you don't leave, you're going to get offers. You are going to get an offer. I read yesterday or the day before, Will Zalatoris got like $120 million offer and he turned it down.
Huge.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think part of it is history, legacy of the PGA Tour, and also the conversation that the PGA Tour had with all these players, and the PGA Tour was like, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this. So they try to sell themselves to the players to be like, stay with us, and we promise you'll reap the benefits, and you will see why you should be with us. But just you need to give us some time, and we are going to change this. So, and this is where Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy kind of stepped up, and they were like leading the way. Does that make sense? They were like leading the way, and they were like trying to encourage all the other players to not leave. And this is where the TGL came, from, and these massive purses that are going on now. And what did they copy from Liv a couple of weeks ago? They copied something. What was the latest thing? Something happened that Liv are doing and PGA are not doing, and PGA announced that, oh yeah, we're going to start doing this. You don't remember? I think it was when you were in America. Anyway.
What was that?
And then Liv tweeted, and they were like, the best form of, what is it? The best form of flattery is imitation or something like that.
Oh, wait. No, of course. Was it like a 54-hole event or something? Wait, what was it?
Was it? Oh, no, there's going to be no cuts. There's going to be some events with no cuts next year.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh, yeah,
thank you."
Right. Like, that's what. So it's, they are trying to change a few things. It just takes a bit of time, and I do genuinely feel. Oh, imagine if they were like, if they start making these rules to make golf more boring, shall we say, inverted commas. What if the players are just like, yeah, okay, if you want to change the game of golf and make my life more miserable, and I can't hit the ball as far as I can, as far as I'm able to, I'll just go take the 100 million from Live and I'll just go play over there. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see what happens and how they handle it. So yeah, that's it. I mean,
and kind of speaking about these tours together, right? Obviously last weekend we had both the PGA Tour, which is the Valspar Championship, and also the Live Tour, which was played in, where was it again? Was that
Tucson?
In Tucson, Arizona, right? And I think the Valspar Championship, there weren't that many good players in there. I mean, Jordan Spieth was playing, so that was...
It was Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, Tommy Fleetwood. That's it.
But there weren't that many, and that's it, basically. That's it. I
watched zero golf on the weekend. Even Live, I didn't watch a single clip of Live. I didn't watch... I turned it on Sunday night to watch like the final few holes for the Valspar, and it literally just finished, and I saw whoever that person was lifting the trophy, and I was like, okay, cool, it's finished.
Taylor Moore.
Yeah, I was like, okay, wicked, finished, and that was it. I just kind of switched over.
But what made you want to watch PGA Tour ahead of Live that same Sunday?
Nothing did. I didn't watch it. I watched 30 seconds of it. And the reason why I didn't watch it is because there was nobody that I enjoyed watching. Yes, I love Justin Thomas, I love Jordan Spieth, and I love Tommy Fleetwood. I love Tommy Fleetwood. Fairway Jesus, as they call them. Have you heard this nickname?
Yeah.
That's the best nickname.
He
Fairway
just
Jesus.
Fairway Jesus.
Yeah, so I love them three. But it's not a strong enough field for me to turn over to PGA Tour and watch this. Now, if John Rahm was playing, if... Rory, if all these amazing players are playing, then yes, I'm watching. But it just didn't really, like, when I look, because every week I look at the lineup, right? And this week is the Dell Match Play. I'm going to watch that because it's a different format, and a lot of good players are playing. But if I'm every week, every Monday or Tuesday, I'm on PGA Tour app, and I'm seeing where they're playing, what format it is, and who's playing. If I don't recognize 10, 15 names, not only recognize, but people that I enjoy watching play golf, then I'm just not going to watch golf. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm not really watching. I don't care about Live, man. Like, I'm not interested in Live at all. I knew it was on. I could have easily put it on for free and watch it, no problem. I just didn't want to. I don't know why. I don't know if it feels like I'm cheating on the PGA Tour. I don't know if that's the right way of putting it, but I just don't feel... I'm comfortable watching it. I don't know why. I can't pinpoint why I'm not a fan of watching Live.
Okay, that's interesting. So
this weekend, I could name you 50 or 30 players that were on Live that I could have easily went on and watched. If my argument is the reason why I didn't watch a PGA Tour this week is because the lineup, the players weren't as well known. I could have easily went and watched Live. And watch Cam Smith, DJ, Phil, Matt Wolf. Pat Perez. I could have watched so many good people playing golf on Live, but I still chose to not watch any golf rather than watch Live. Does that make sense?
Oh my gosh, it makes sense. Yeah, I mean,
did you watch any?
To be very honest with you, I haven't.
There you go. I don't know what it is.
It felt like one of those weekends. I mean, I knew it was going on.
I
knew, and I knew I could have just turned on. And I like these guys. You know, I love Cam Smith.
I know, yeah.
Right, Dustin Johnson. Right, and you're a big Bryson. Bryson fan. Massive Bryson fan.
But it's like, I don't know.
But I'm technically sold on the idea of Live, right, making golf fun again. But something about it, again, still doesn't appeal to me.
There's not even that. Golf, for us hardcore fans, it's always been fun. Like, the format worked. It was fine. We didn't need it to change. Does that make sense?
But then again, to be fair, the reason I haven't watched any golf is because I've been playing golf.
Speaking of playing golf, you told me, and you started a conversation. I was like, no, stop talking. I have questions.
Okay.
So I was like, don't tell me anymore. Let's talk about it on the podcast. You went and played golf at your potentially future residency. Is that the right word?
Residency, yes.
You're like a DJ.
Club residency and DJ, mate.
Yeah, like you're thinking about joining this club. So you went on Sunday. You invited me to come down, but the weather was not good enough for me to drive 2.5 hours down.
What do you mean it wasn't good enough? It was perfect. It was absolutely brilliant. It was 13 degrees and sunny, not a single drop of rain.
Okay, well, I just didn't want to risk it. The forecast was not looking great, so I was like, I'm not willing to risk driving 2.5 hours to kind of, I don't know,
mate.
Just in case it rains.
Perfect. It was the perfect weather.
Okay,
so I couldn't have had a better time.
What golf course? How was the course? How was it? I've got so many questions, so let's get into this.
Okay, sounds good. So it was Moore Park Golf Club,
okay.
And I think many people know the place because of its, absolutely gorgeous mansion clubhouse.
Okay.
And which is absolutely gorgeous. So I went in there, had a chat with the, with the membership manager, with the club pro, and with the people over there. Right, everybody was really friendly. Learn a bit more about, the history of the club, how many members there are, what's the format of the competition. So that was really quite sort of interesting and useful for determining, why you want to join the club, right? So they've got over 1,000 members who play golf.
What? That's so many, man.
Yeah, but then again, I was like, wait a minute, like my previous golf club, Kettleston, right, only had about 300 full sort of,
and the
playing members, 400 including some of the, 5-day, 6-day members.
Yeah.
But this one, just golf is 1,000, and there's another 500 who are like tennis and social members as well, who play tennis there and who are just there
that's
for
so bad.
socials.
That kind of puts me off a little bit, because the reason why
but think about it,
right, with 300-400 members per year is so that those 300-400 people are well looked after, and if you need a tee time, there's free tee times. You can easily play on Saturday comps. You can easily play in comps. So there's one golf course at Moore Park, correct?
There's 2 courses.
Okay, that's different then.
So first of all, there's 2. So at first I was a bit concerned. I'm thinking, right, I'm the type of person who likes to book on a whim.
Yes,
right?
Yeah, you are.
I'm not the kind of person
opposite.
who's like, right,
7
7 days ahead, I'm going to book this course. I know exactly that I'm definitely going to go in there. Because first of all, I think things always change.
Yep.
And I'm not the kind of person who like, okay, I'm going to wake up at I'm going to, every Sunday at 3 p.m. the moment the booking system opens, I'm going to reserve my 8 a.m. spot on the following Saturday or Sunday, right? And then if it doesn't work out, I'm just going to cancel. I'm not going to, I actually kind of feel bad about it. If I put my name down, I want to commit to it. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, so I'm the kind of person who's like, I wake up on a Friday or even on a Saturday morning, and I think, right, Saturday, let's play some golf, right? And I want to see if I can book anything.
That is the worst thing, man. Because what if in the summer there's going to be 0 times available?
I know. No, but to be fair, at
Kettleston, play golf, and then you go, and then the BRS app, and there's no tee times available.
Well, but at Kettleston, there's always some last-minute cancellations.
Because there was 300 people,
right? And I add myself in. Yeah, but then again, think about it, right? Most people who are Kettleston players, they live around the area. And most people who are, members of the Moore Park, they live in the Greater London area, and they're not that close by. So first of all, they have 2 courses, right? Yeah. They have 2 courses to spread out sort of, the tee times. And secondly, you've got a sort of a much wider reaching sort of like membership. What's it called? Geographic, I suppose. So it's harder for people. It's like, how many people are going to drive 1 hour every single week to go play some golf?
I don't know, because everybody, including yourself, is driving at least 40 minutes, right? So everybody's on the same boat. So everybody has to drive 40 minutes away. So it's I don't know, man. I don't know if that's the right way of looking at it. I get what you mean, but it's not like Kettleston where most people are local and they also have 40-minute away, drive people that are driving in to play, and you're one of the local guys, and you can just go in and out whenever you want. You also have to drive 40 minutes, so it's I don't know, it's a bit weird.
True.
What did the pros?
But what they promised and said was, obviously, so there is a waiting list to get in, and how they determine how many members sort of get accepted, how many people they take on from the wait list, and this and that, depends on their Saturday and Sunday morning tee sheet, basically. If they open up, the Saturday tee sheets and for the past, let's just say 30 weeks, 40 weeks, and they say, it's full every single time, that's when they say, right, okay, I don't think we're going to take any members in. If they look at the tee sheet and see that, there's a couple of tee times that's still available, every Saturday, on average, every couple of Saturdays, there's, 3 tee times available. That's when they determine and say, okay, we're going to, let's just say we're going to admit 10 people from the wait list because there's been at least one tee time every single Saturday morning from, 7 a.m. to 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. That's unoccupied. So that's what they said. So apparently it works. So we'll see.
Is there a waiting list now?
Yeah, there is a waiting list.
Okay, so if you choose to join, is there a chance that you can't join this year?
Well, I don't know yet, but to be fair, I had a very good conversation, and I think, he did say that, more than likely is that I will get in, so that's a good thing.
Do you know what's really weird? Did they mention anything about putting you on top of the list?
No, they never said that.
So I called Mikkel over today to kind of speak to the secretary and be like, look, I want to join, sign me up, whatever. And he said to me...
No way, there's a waiting list.
He said to me, there's a waiting list.
No way.
Yes, but because you were a member before, I'll just put yours on, your application on top of the pile.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So I'm like, listen, Mikkel, the course is good, but it's not Moore Park, So I'm surprised there's even a waiting list for this club. Fair play to them. But it's the... I'm glad... Well, I am glad...
I'm actually not that surprised because, Greater London, there's so many golf courses and there's so many nice golf courses.
Yeah.
Whereas look at Derbyshire, especially those that are closer to the actual city.
Yeah.
And it's a city with quite a well-off demographic. You've got Rolls-Royce, you've got all these different
Toyota,
companies.
There's loads of...
Exactly.
People in Derby are like, what's the word? The middle class? That's the right.
The proper middle class,
like middle
mate.
to upper class, very well off, very good people.
But so these are people who are the prime demographic sort of for a golf membership, right? But if you look at the quality of the golf in Derbyshire,
listen to this.
It's not very high, is it?
It's really not.
So, Kedleston, which is the best. Yeah, go on.
I know. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember when we played Kedleston once? And I was like, oh, I recognize that guy. I think he's a customer of mine or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So obviously it was him. I saw him the other day and I was talking and I was like, oh, you're right. Have you signed up for this year? Kedleston. He was like, we were talking about golf and he was like, I'm not going to sign up this year. And I was like, why? And he goes, I said, what's the membership fee? And he goes, the membership fee for this year is £1,800. And last year, I only played 12 times.
What?
And I'm like, bro, you paid like £1,700 and you only played 12 times. I did the maths after he left, right? It comes to £160 per round.
Oh, gosh.
And I'm like... How rich? No, he's not even rich, or how well off. Obviously, he wasn't planning on only playing 12 times, but kind of life kind of came at him a little bit. He's got 2 kids, he's got a full-time job. It's just his 2 friends that play with him at Kedleston left, so he didn't really have many people to play with. But again, it's like, that is such a waste of money. And that's the only thing that's putting me off from joining Mikulova, is the idea that I'm not going to get my money's worth. Because I am guaranteed to play every single Tuesday when it's my normal weekday off, right? But the Saturdays, when the only reason I'm going to join is so I can play Saturday competitions. Now, if I'm not playing even twice or 3 times or 10 times in the year or in the winter, Mikulova is the last place you want to be in the winter. They have temporary greens, temporary tees. They shut down a bunch of holes because they get flooded. It's not a good place to play winter golf. Kedleston, on the other hand, it was perfectly fine to play winter golf. So the £1,500 that I'm going to pay to be a member at Mikulova, I have to play every single Saturday, and maybe sometimes twice a week, on a on a Tuesday, to get my money's worth. Otherwise, there's no point in me being a member. So it's one of those things, man. You're going to join. You're thinking about joining Moore Park. It's a 40-minute drive. Yes, it's an amazing clubhouse. Yes, it's an amazing...
It's 1 hour. It's actually 1 hour.
You're going to be driving 1 hour every... I mean, you don't mind
that's
driving.
That's without traffic as well.
Oh, so
going...
You're not helping yourself, Chenji.
The thing about it is, on a Saturday or Sunday morning, you drive out of London, the traffic is usually okay, but it's the coming back in part that's going to be a bloody struggle. because everybody's going into London at all times of the day. So it might take you 50 minutes, 55 minutes to get there, but coming back, it might be an hour and a half.
Oh my God. Okay, so the question, Chenji.
Yes.
How much is membership?
Oof, and it's not cheap. And I'll tell you what they've done. Because Moore Park is actually quite a well-known place for hosting weddings, for hosting public events, for hosting actually film shootings, right? So because it's really nice clubhouse,
right?
And on like, you know, basically like, you know, really beautiful grounds. You get basically, again, you know, you drive into this piece of estate essentially, and you drive quite a far away in alongside basically the various holes in the golf course, and then all of a sudden you're, you know, this grand mansion appears, and you know that's the clubhouse, and then there's some other houses around here and there. But anyway, and then a bunch of tennis courts. So it's a great place to actually host events. So it used to be that the membership was quite, I wouldn't say cheap, but it was quite good value.
Yeah.
Because they made so much money from
the extra
renting
bits
out
left and right.
the spaces for golf days, for golf
that's
societies,
very good, so they looked
for
after the
corporate
members.
events.
They weren't greedy.
Yeah. Well, no, in a way, because then the members complained because they were like, we can never get, you know, tea times because every single day on the weekdays, right, it was just full of golf days and golf societies, right? And on the weekends, they can't enjoy the clubhouse because it was just full of weddings and full of other sort of events.
That makes a lot. Oh wow, okay, right.
Yeah.
So
even though people were paying, you know, a relatively good price to be a member of, you know, of a very well-renowned and beautiful golf course. Yeah, a prestigious golf course. But at the same time, they were basically sharing it with a lot of people who just come and, you know, pay to play and come here for not golf.
Yeah.
So in the last couple of years, they've just decided to increase the members' fees and reduce the revenue, and hence they will be able to reduce the reliance on some of the more on the external events that do come in.
That makes sense.
Park.
That way, he's like, okay, right. Well, if you want to play here by yourself and not have any extra noise around on weekends or whatever, you're gonna have to pay. I'm sorry, it's not our fault, but that's what you want. You have to pay for it, which kind of makes sense actually. I kind of respect that.
And apparently the members are happier for it.
Okay,
right? So now, you know, again, it has a more members feel. And basically, you know, even though there are more than 1,000 members, right? I think the people who work there tend to know most people, you know, and their names.
Well, that's the way it should be, in my opinion. At a golf course, you want to walk like. I went to Mikulova. I haven't played at Mikulova in like a year and a half, in 18 months. I called the secretary and I was like, "Hi, my name's Theo." He goes, "Oh, Theo, how are you? Long time." And I'm like, "How do you remember me? I don't even know what he looks like." He's like, "How are you? How's business?" I was like, okay. I went and played at Mikulova a couple of weeks ago, like I mentioned last week on the podcast. The bar woman knew my name. The pro, when he saw me, Tim, he's a lovely guy. I've always got on with him. He was like chanting my name. You know, the other girl that works at the pro shop knows who I am, and he makes you. It feels so nice when they kind of know who you are and you know who they are, and you kind of banter about football or about golf or about football teams. It's nice, man. It's nice. And you feel welcome. That's what you want in a golf course. You want to feel a little bit special, man. Like, you're paying a lot of money. The least they can do is be nice to you. You know?
Exactly.
So what's the price? What's the price, Chenji?
Yeah, for basically my current age.
Changing the subject.
I keep on changing the subject. Oh my God. How did we drag this like 1 minute question to like what is 10 minutes of content?
Chenji. For 1 year club membership, 7-day membership at Moore Park, how much does it cost?
For somebody who's 30 years old, it'll set you back approximately £2,500 per year.
Oh my God!
Plus the same amount for an initial joining fee.
Chenji, man.
Now, for somebody who's over 50, that number reaches to $4,000.
I don't care about the 50-year-old. Chenji. You're thinking about paying £5,000 for the first year.
Yeah.
That is so much money. That is so... How much is Centurion? Surely it's not that much.
Even more.
Chenji.
Centurion is £10,000 to pay and play. One off.
No way. I feel like I can't let you do this. Like, I need to talk you out of this. Because basically, okay, here's the thing, right? You're such a smart person. You know this, but we're going to talk about this, right? So I'm paying a joining fee as well because yes, I was a member at Mikulova before, but ever since I've stopped, they introduced a joining fee because it was a waiting list. So unfortunately, I have to pay the joining fee. The joining fee is £500, right?
Did you pay a joining fee?
No,
the first time you
no, because that didn't exist back then.
Oh wow!
Because there's a lot more players that want to play at Mikulova. They introduce a joining fee to kind of limit their waiting list and only take people on that genuinely want to play there. Anyway. So the good thing with the joining fee is if you're planning in staying in London for the next 5-10 years, then it's worth it because you're only going to pay the joining fee once. But if you're planning on moving away, which I can see you doing in the next 5 years, 3 to 5 years, and you pay the $2,500 joining fee, but you don't really get your money's worth, shall we say, because you moved away, that's so much money, Chenji, man.
That's the price you pay to live in London, isn't it?
It's madness. I cannot believe it's that much money. And it's funny. You sent me a picture of a room that they have at the clubhouse that is a potential podcast location for us if we do play golf at Moore Park, right? And his selling point was we can rent this room for free if I'm a member. And I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing, Chenji. And it's like a massive grant room, like very old and posh. It looks like one of the like a room that you get at like Buckingham Palace, right? There's like art, like fancy art on the walls. It's beautiful. And now I can see why it's free. That's the least they can do if you're paying $5,000 a year. That is absolutely mental. I'm trying to get the calculator out because this is crazy. This is very interesting for the podcast. God. So 5,000. I'll put 50.
And also think about it. Realistically speaking, like back in Derbyshire, near Kettleston, it was 8-minute drive away from me.
So convenient.
And then 5 minutes away from work. So basically, I was playing 4 times a week, sometimes 9 holes, sometimes 18 holes, sometimes 12 holes or whatsoever.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure last year I've played for definitely over 60 times.
Yep.
Okay.
You're not playing over 30 times at Moore Park, I don't think.
Average, so basically on average, I've paid about £30 for each round that I played there. Right. I probably played more than 60 times anyway. Yeah. Right. Now, realistically speaking, right, I'm not going to drive basically 2.5 hours every single day to play some golf. Right. In the summer, right, I might do that after work occasionally, after work. But realistically speaking, I'll be lucky if I can get in 40 rounds a year.
You're not, right. I think that's too many, first of all. Second
that
of
might
all,
even be too many.
I agree with everything you've said, but because I know you are literally going to push yourself to go and play at this golf course just to get your money's worth, which is exactly what you should do. But I know what you're
exactly.
like. So you're going to finish work, even though you can't be asked to go and play golf. You're going to be like,
I'm going to go and play golf. I'm going to carry my bag and I'm going to go.
You definitely will. I've just done the maths. £5,000 divided by 52 weeks. Do you know how much you'll be paying per week?
Yeah, like £100.
£100. It was £96 per week to play golf. It's crazy how expensive this place is. How much will it be if I came as a guest and played golf there?
I think it's like £60, so it's not cheap either.
That's not cheap at all. How's a carvery? Have they got a carvery?
Mate, they've got more than carvery, dude. They've got everything.
Is it like a mission? Is it like fine dining?
It's it's not. I mean, they've got pub food and they've got like good dining options as well. And even better, we can rent out our own room and just have just go watch some footy, eat some food, have a couple of drinks, and I don't know, play poker.
Listen, as an idea, I love the idea of Moore Park. I love the clubhouse. I love the 2 courses. Are they good? Is it good golf? How are the courses?
It's brilliant golf. It's so challenging.
Is it?
And literally, I think out of those, I don't know how many par 4s there were, but to say there were 12 par 4s, right? I feel like, especially now in the winter, right? And I'm not like a short hitter by any regard, but I had to basically lay up on like 4 or 5 of them.
Right.
It's like they were so long and they're so challenging.
Yeah,
and you have to make sure. You really can't risk going it left or right. But yeah, it's just a very challenging course.
Okay.
There's only like water on one hole, which doesn't really come into account because which doesn't really come into sort of factor into play because, well, it's somewhat because it's kind of right next to the tee box. So unless you sort of, I suppose, top your ball, it won't usually fall into the water. But the course design is actually pretty well made, so that you always have to think about where your ball's going next.
Have you only played one out of the two courses? Have you played both?
I've played the more difficult one. I haven't played the other one yet, but the other one's supposed to be a bit shorter, bit more sort of for social play. So the high course is where they host the tournaments, the championship. They're going to host the open qualifying this year over there.
Kennison did that as well.
Yep, exactly. They host like the boys, sort of the England boys competition.
Morley Hayes does that, mate.
The Carris Trophy. And no, but that's like that's the most prestigious one amongst the boys.
Okay.
And then on the West course, that's the sort of more social course. That's where they usually accept 4 balls and all that. So that's a bit easier, I suppose, but mainly not easier, but just shorter, really.
What days do they have competitions on?
At least once a week, usually. Either Saturday or Sunday.
Can you play there if you are not a member?
No.
So how?
But on Saturday and Sundays, right in the afternoon, you can play there as non-members, no problem. So the competition only and plus if one course has a competition, the other one is open up for 4 balls, 3 balls, or normal social play.
So it's not both.
At any point, at any given day, you and I can have a game of golf. Whereas, for example, at Kettleston, if it's a Saturday, there's no way we can have. That's true. We can play together.
Well, that's one reason why you shouldn't be a member at this place. Because you're not limited. Okay, obviously you're limited Saturday mornings. You won't be able to play golf because there's a competition going on. Oh, no, you can, because you can play at the other course, on the other course.
Exactly. So I think that's the beauty about a 2-course.
Okay. My next question is... If you're not a member, how much would it cost to play at Moore Park?
It's like about 140 pounds.
That's so expensive.
Right? On the summer. And then maybe 100 pounds on the West course. In the winter, I think it's like 70 pounds or something. 70 pounds. Do you think the £5,000 is worth it? Well, it's different, isn't it? I think it's worth it because it's just beautiful.
If only you live like 10 minutes away.
If only.
Then I'll be like, it's kind of doable. You're going to get your money's worth. But, oh my God, that's so much money, man. Like, it doesn't matter how rich or poor you are. Paying £5,000 per year to play on a golf course, mate, you could easily... Well, I say that, but it's like...
I mean, mate, a lot of people pay a lot more than that as well.
Big time. So. Like, Woburn is like 15 grand. Plus your Jordan fees.
Actually?
Yeah, it's like £12,000. And to be completely honest with you, mate, if I could afford it, I would 100% pay that money to play at Woburn.
And you haven't even played there,
I'm a big fan. I know every hole. I know the pros. I know everything about that place. I don't know why. It just that place seems.
Well, you're about to go there in May, so
it seems like it could be like one of my favorite places in the UK. So it'd be interesting to kind of see.
Brilliant.
So yeah. So what's going to happen? Are you going to join?
Yeah, I think so. Most likely.
Well, do it. I'm gonna enjoy it. I mean, I'll be coming down once or twice a month. We can do the podcast there. We can we can eat some food. We can hang out. We can see each other. What puts me off, obviously, is like it's a 2-hour drive, a 2.5 hour drive. But it is what it is. It's one of those things.
Leave your car there. We'll spend the weekend, right? There is actually a tube station, right? And I was even thinking at one point I might just try it out, whereby I just I buy one of those electric scooters, right, that you zip around.
Oh my God, I cannot imagine you on a scooter.
No, but seriously, so technically they're illegal on the roads because you can't insure them, right? But then basically, you just get out of the tube station, you walk for like 2 minutes, and then you're in the estate, which is private estate. There's no, it's only illegal on public roads, but on private roads, it's perfectly fine. So I might just kind of like take the subway, take the tube into like the town, Moore Park, like the station's called Moore Park. Walk for 5 minutes with my little scooter and my go. Actually, I don't even need a golf bag because they've got storage, everything. They will even charge your trolleys, right? You can store your shoes there, so everything. You don't need to take anything to go in.
No way.
Yeah, exactly. So literally, all I do is carry my little scooter and maybe like a gym bag of clothes, and then just zip in.
Wow. Is there like any weird rules that you need to follow, or is it just basic stuff that we already know? Like, can you change your golf shoes in the car park?
You probably can get away with it. Yeah, should be no
problem.
Because
there's some golf clubs in the UK. I don't know in America what it's like.
Yeah, mate, this place is huge. This place is huge. You know, you can. I'm sure you can find a little corner. Nobody will even see what you're doing. Right? Okay. They've got like I gotta say this, right? You know those shoe sprays.
The air.
Like the compressed air.
Yeah.
They don't have the air. They do have the air.
They have a guy that cleans your shoes.
No, they probably do actually. No, actually, they do have a guy that cleans their shoes and stores them. But actually, they've got a whole section in. So basically, like, you know, there's the place outside where they usually have the sprays. They have like this super posh version of it, which is like a little brush. So basically, air comes out, water comes out, and there is a brush that it's like on the outside. So basically. It's just, you just clean I've never cleaned my shoes.
That's good.
I've never had such clean shoes after a muddy round of winter golf.
Oh my God.
Let's just say that. They have another section right next to the clubhouse, right? Where you can go in and clean your clubs. It's like these ultrasound and also compressed air whatsoever, like gear where you can just basically wash your clubs. Yeah.
Brilliant. It sounds good, man. Again, it is expensive, but you're going to get your... You know, I think it's expensive for a reason. I can almost understand why why this club is expensive. And again, it's only expensive this year. Next year it's going to be half the price. And if you think about it, Kettleston is like $2,000, and this place, Moore Park, is £2,500. £2,500 is definitely worth it for the clubhouse, the 2 courses, everything that comes with it. Kettleston is not worth £2,000 or £1,800.
No, you know, I love Kettleston, but
it's not. It's so much money for what it is.
It's only that expensive because there's a lack of choice.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway, I hope you join. I can't wait to come and see you. I can't wait to go and play there, golf there, and eat carvery and just have a few Guinnesses. I've missed playing with you. I genuinely miss playing golf with you, Chenji.
Me too, mate. I'm actually not just. I don't just miss playing with you. I'm actually a bit scared of playing with you. You know. Seeing how good you've become with your driver, especially with your new driver.
Mate, I've played 9 holes with it. I haven't played yesterday because of the weather. I haven't played today because of the weather. I'm not playing tomorrow because of the weather. So I need to hit at least 1,000 balls before I see you to kind of get to know my driver, if that makes any sense. Because I played 9 holes and I only hit it like 3 times. So I need to kind of get used to it a little bit. But
yeah,
slowly, we'll get there. Are you going to Singapore? Are you actually going?
I'm not sure yet. I can't find tickets.
So if you don't find tickets, is there any way that you can come to Bulgaria with us?
Possibly, yes.
I hope.
So there is a chance.
I hope you don't find tickets for Singapore. Selfishly, I'm talking right now.
I know it might actually happen. You know,
I hope you don't find tickets to go to Singapore to see your family that you haven't seen for 4 years. So that you can come with me selfishly and play golf in Bulgaria. That is what I hope for. But obviously, you know where I'm coming from. I love you. I want to spend time with you. I want you to experience this Bulgaria trip with me. You have to be there. We're going to make like 3-4 videos. We're going to have such a good time. We can drink.
3-4 videos? It's going to be 4 days of videos.
Well, we're playing 3 rounds of golf. So it's anyway, don't worry about that. Exactly. I just want you to come. The room is there. The bed's there waiting for you. All you need to do is just book a plane ticket. Please, Chenji, I'm begging you. Stop looking for Singapore tickets. Start looking for Bulgaria tickets.
Bulgaria tickets.
Please.
Great.
That will make
Sounds
me
good.
and Stell so happy, man, if you actually came.
Oh,
I'm bringing
absolutely.
my nephew
I'll do my best.
my nephew from Cyprus. Did I tell you this?
No, you didn't.
What? So my nephew, Dasso, my sister's son,
I've
paid for his flight to come from Cyprus to Bulgaria so that he can be he can be a cameraman.
A cameraman, brilliant.
So
brilliant.
we're gonna have cameramen. We're gonna have drinks, food. We're gonna have such a good time. I've got massages booked, mate. I've got so many things planned. It's the Masters weekend. On the Sunday, it's the final day of the Masters.
Wait a minute. You're joking.
No, it's Liverpool are playing Arsenal. It's going to be the best weekend.
Oh, my God.
Please, we're going to have such a good time, Chenji. I want you to come to Bulgaria more than I wanted you to come, I don't know, to my wedding in Cyprus. That's how much I want you to come. On that note, please like and subscribe.
No. Oh, my God.
Like this video or comment below and just beg Chenji to come. Just that's all I want him to do. Just if you watched him this far.
That sounded so wrong. That sounded so wrong.
That is it. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you again next week. And thank you. Please
like and subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Thank you, guys.
Take care. Bye.